Welcome to another edition of Bite Size Titans presented by Bite Size Sports. I am your host, James Schmeitz. Titans are back on the road this week, folks, heading to face the Cleveland Browns in the battle of two stellar defenses. Titans are facing former assistant Jim Schwartz, defensive assistant for Tennessee. He's now Cleveland's defensive coordinator. I think he was with the Titans the last 2 years, if I'm right. Browns are currently 1-1. Tennessee's 1-1. So both teams trying to get to 2-1 on the season. Browns beat the Bengals 24-3 in week 1, beat them pretty handily, and then lost to the Steelers this Monday night, 26-22. So a little bit of a short week for the Browns, but just one day, so it's not terrible. Big news for them is they are facing Tennessee without their all-pro superstar running back Nick Chubb. He is out for the season with a devastating knee injury. He's done this twice. He actually did it at Georgia. Horrific knee injury on Monday night. Prayers out to him. That's awful. Hopefully he can get back to playing. But, man, just a brutal injury. And, again, prayers up to him. Hopefully he's okay and can get through this. It was pretty gruesome. Cleveland's offense is 17th in the NFL, averaging just 17 points a game. Kind of funny, 17 for 17. Yards per game, they're 7th, though, 379 yards per game. The key here is they average 202 rushing yards per game, which is first in the NFL. Obviously, Nick Chubb was a huge part of that, so we'll see how that goes this week. And then passing attack really struggling, 25th in the league at 177 yards per game. We'll talk about Deshaun Watson a little bit more here in a bit, but he has struggled this season. 31st in giveaways per game. They've lost 4 fumbles and 2 interceptions. Big-time opportunity here for Tennessee's defense to get some turnovers, possibly get a defensive touchdown. So I think we're healthy, too. We'll get that pulled up here, but I believe we're healthy. Then you got the Browns' offensive line allowing a sack 11.54% of the time, which is 28th in the league. That's no good. That's the Titans' defensive line, Jeffrey Simmons, Autry, Arden Key, Tier Carr. Those dudes should feast this week. They should feast. And then to top off Deshaun Watson, he's only completing 55% of his passes. 31st in the NFL. 55%, 31st in the NFL. So for all you Ryan Tannehill haters out there, it could be much worse out there. He had a great game last week after his abysmal week 1 performance, but we could have Deshaun Watson right now who looks awful and is getting paid $1 bazillion. So careful what you wish for. It could always be worse. We've talked about Deshaun a lot here. Let's get back over to him. 38 of 69 on the season, like I talked about, 55.1%. Just 195.5 yards per game, not 194.5 yards per game. My fault. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 9 sacks. That 9 sacks is key. The Titans should be able to easily get to him. They should be able to put some pressure and get to him. He's holding the ball too long. He's struggling. Without a running game, it's going to be hopefully bad news bears for him. I think Tennessee's defensive line can feast this game. I think it's a big chance for them. Running back for him, obviously, Nick Chubb, done for the season. All-pro running back, going to be impossible to replace. There's no way anybody can do it on that team. The next guy up is Jerome Ford. He had 16 carries for 106 yards on Monday against the Steelers, which is really good. 3 receptions, 25 yards, and a touchdown catch after Nick Chubb got hurt. They did sign Kareem Hunt this week, longtime Brown. He played for him for a few years. He was a free agent. Probably will see him a little bit. Don't know how much, but he is familiar with their system, so it shouldn't be much of a change for him to get in there and get reacclimated and get going. At receiver, got a top dog in Amari Cooper, 10 receptions, 127 yards, 63.5 per game, no touchdowns, long of 23. He's followed up by Elijah Moore, who they traded for with the Jets this offseason. 6 receptions, 79 yards, 39.5 yards per game. Also, no touchdowns. Are going to see a consistent theme here, long of 33. They also have Donovan Peoples-Jones, who has done absolutely nothing this year. Was looking at his stats from last year at over 800 yards, and he has a whopping 2 receptions for 19 yards this year. He's really struggling this year. He's not had a great year or a great start to the year. So you got their 3 main receivers there. Amari Cooper's the big one. The other 2, you got to be a little careful or can go off, but Donovan Peoples-Jones has done nothing, and Elijah Moore has done a little bit more than him, but not a ton. And then at tight end, you got their 3rd leading receiver, David Njoku, 6 receptions for 72 yards, 36 yards per game. Again, no touchdowns. He's also lost a fumble on this year. So offensively, they're struggling. 17 points a game, not great. It's worse than Tennessee. Deshaun Watson's really struggling. He's getting paid like a mega millionaire quarterback. He's a superstar quarterback who's not playing like one. They lost their all-world running back. Cooper is their stellar. He's their best receiver, but he has been hurt a little bit. I believe he's on the injury report when we pull it up. So you could see a Titans defense here have a chance to really feast, get sacks, get interceptions. Maybe we can get on the board defensively with a touchdown. I think Tennessee's defense is going to have a heyday here, folks. I think they are going to have a heyday. However, on the other side of the ball for the Browns, their defense is equally as good right now, statistically better. So statistically better than Tennessee's. And they played the Bengals in week 1 now. The Bengals look like crap right now. They don't look any good, but they are the Bengals and have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. They got guys everywhere. So right now, they just don't look any good. But Cleveland's defense only allowing 14.5 points per game, third in the NFL. 198.5 yards per game, which is second. 65 rushing yards per game, which is fourth. 133.5 passing yards per game, which is second. So they have top 4 both spots there. They got 4 sacks through 2 games. They have only created 1 turnover, which is good for Tennessee. They haven't created a lot of them. They are led up front by Myles Garrett, all-world player, defensive player of the year candidate. That type of dude. He's stellar, one of the best edges in the league. They got Za'Darius Smith up there as well. Denzel Ward at quarterback. Garrett does have 1 sack on the year, just one. Like I said, they've only got 4 sacks through 2 games right now. Big news for Tennessee is their starting cornerback, Greg Newsome, is out for the game. So they're one of their better cornerbacks, one of their starting 2 cornerbacks is out for the game, but it doesn't really make their defense any less fearsome. Myles Garrett is stellar. He's an absolute monster back there in Tennessee's offensive line. Is going to have their line, their hands full with him. He's unbelievable. So Titans patchwork offensive line there. I guess not patchwork. That's last year. We're past that. Their new offensive line. They got a lot of work to do to get to block these guys. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Injury report is pretty big for both teams. My goodness, Tennessee's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys on it. Browns got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 guys on it. So 22 guys on the injury report between both teams. For Tennessee, Luke Gifford, quad injury, didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday, practiced Friday, probably good to go. Anthony Kendall, who I don't recognize even who that is, was limited participant Friday. He's questionable. Big one on the offensive line, Peter Skoronski, left guard, is out again. He had that appendectomy last week, and I said at least this. I didn't expect to see him at least till next week, maybe another week. So he is officially out this week. Taylor Tart was a full participant yesterday. Doesn't have this tag on him. Danico Autry, this one's a little worrisome. Foot/groin, limited participant all week. One of Tennessee's best front guys up there, sack guys, edge guy. He's questionable, limited participant all week, so we will see on him. Derrick Henry missed a day of practice, was limited a day, but was a full participant on Friday. He's good to go. Harold Landry, hamstring, limited participant 2 days this week. Full participation Friday, good to go. Christian Fulton, big one. Been a full participant all week with that hamstring injury that caused him to miss last week. He is good to go. So our starting cornerback, our top guy, is back in the lineup. Amani Hooker, the dynamic duo, the guy across from Kevin Byard, cleared concussion protocol. He's good to go as well. I'm surprised it was only 1 week for him. That's great news for Tennessee, but expected that to be at least 2 with his history. So awesome to see him out there. Then the big one is DeAndre Hopkins. Practice Wednesday, didn't practice Thursday, or limited Thursday, didn't practice Friday. Questionable. It's that ankle. I expect him to play. He didn't practice all last week and found a way to get out there. I expect the same thing again this week. I think DeAndre Hopkins will be out there this weekend. And then Kieris Jackson, our punt returner, was put on IR today, so he's out a minimum of 4 games. So don't know him, the ankle injury. I don't really know what happened, but must have been a high ankle sprain if he had to go on IR, so he's out for 4 games. I know Mason Kinsey got bumped up to the 53-man roster today, so Kieras out for 4 weeks minimum. So big ones are obviously Skoronski out, huge loss there with how good Cleveland's defensive front is. And then Danico Autry and DeAndre Hopkins, both big pieces on both sides of the ball. Danico defense, Diop offense would be tough losses if either or both of them were out. So hopefully they can both play. They have both practiced a little bit this week, so we'll see. I expect D-Hop to play. I have no idea on Danico Autry. I don't know what's going on there, so we'll see with him. Cleveland Browns injury report is longer than Tennessee's, so that's which is crazy. Tennessee's is usually the biggest in the league, so that it's different to see. Their guard Joel Bitonio rested on Wednesday, full participant the rest of the week, should be good to go. Amari Cooper is the one to watch. Groin/shoulder. Wednesday DMP, Thursday, Friday limited participant. So could be in, could be out. We'll see with him. Myles Garrett's on here. Didn't practice Wednesday, rest, full participant the rest of the week. I talked about Greg Newsome already. Elbow injury, he is out. Didn't practice all week. He's been declared out already. Big loss for them, huge for Tennessee. Zadarius Smith is on here, but DNP limited, full, should be good to go. Linebacker Shion Taki. Well, I can't even say that. Taki, I think. Limited participant 2 days, full participant Friday, should be good to go. Same with Anthony Walker, their linebacker. Tackle Jedrick Wills, shoulder, limited, full, same thing. A lot of guys like that. They got a defensive tackle on here. Ika is his last name. I do not know how to say his first name, and I do not want to butcher that. Full participant all week, but he's on here. Interesting. Juan Thornhill, safety, full participant all week. Calf, though. Njoku rested. Didn't practice Thursday, was rest. Full participant Friday, should be good to go. One to watch, James Hudson. Tackle, limited participant Thursday. Did not practice Friday. Could be out. It's there you go. So Wednesday, it was estimated they held a walkthrough Wednesday, so that's why some of these guys are a little goofy on Wednesday. But big one is Greg Newsome's out, and then the one to really monitor is Amari Cooper. Would be a tough loss for them on an offense that just lost superstar running back to lose another guy. So I believe he's going to play. He played Monday, kind of the same injury designation last week, but be kind of a wait and see thing there. So we got an injury watch out of the way. Key matchups this week. I think the biggest one is always the offensive line of Tennessee versus the defensive line of the other team. This is the Browns' defensive line is one of the best in the NFL. They are showing it, not giving up any rushing yards, not giving up passing yards. Their defense is tough. Jim Schwartz is aggressive. He's been a head coach. He knows what he's doing. I think he was Titans defensive coordinator a while back. I can't remember. I think he was, but he's really good. He was awesome when he was helping out the Titans last 2 years. And Shane Bowen, Titans defensive coordinator, gave him a hell of a compliment today in the media. So going to be a tough one there against his defense. So can Tennessee's offensive line create any room to run? And then can they give Tannehill time to pass? That's the key here. Dylan Radunes will be back at left guard with Skoronski out. Everybody else is there. Hubbard's been really good at right tackle. Dillard at left tackle has been hit or miss. Brunskill's been pretty solid at right guard. Brewer at center, he's just undersized. So the key, can they create some running lanes for Spears, for Derrick Henry, the King? Can we get something going there over 60 yards? That's what they're holding people to. And then when we have to pass, can they give Tannehill enough time? I think passing, we're going to have with Newsome out, you're going to have a good chance to get some passing yards, to get some chunks and build off what we did last week. So that's the key there is, can Tennessee win the war in the trenches with their offensive line against the Browns' defensive line? I think that's problem number 1, 2, and 3. If they can do that, Tennessee's going to win. If they can't, it's going to be a long, long, long day. So that's the main thing I'm watching. And will Tannehill build off a big week 2? Obviously, it was terrible week 1. Huge bounce-back game last week. I think he was PFF's number 1 overall rated quarterback last week, 20-24, passed a touchdown, ran one in. Is he going to build off that? And then to add on to that, will D-Hop, Chig, or Burks finally get on the board? They're 0 for this year. No touchdown receptions. The only one goes to Nick Westbrook-Akina. Stunning development for all longtime Titans fan that I know. So will D-Hop, Birch, or Chiggs finally get on the board with a touchdown this week, and will Tannehill continue his tear from week 2 and play more like that quarterback than the week 1 quarterback? I think with this defensive line he's going against, he's going to have to get the ball out pretty quick, can't hold on to it. He's always had a penchant to hold on for it a little bit too long. Even against the Chargers early last week, he took a couple sacks where he held on to it just a bit too long. And he's going to have to get that ball out and get it rolling this week and then build off of what he did last week. And then the last big matchup I'm watching is Deshaun Watson versus the Titans secondary. I think this game, something's going to have to give here. You've got Deshaun Watson averaging 194.5 passing yards per game, which is, I'd have to look, but it's probably the lowest of his career. And the Titans giving up 281.5 passing yards per game, which is bottom 4 in the NFL. One of these has to give. If the Titans hold him to under 200 passing yards, they're going to win. And that number is going to go way down. Or their yards per game is going to go way down. If Deshaun Watson tears up Tennessee's defense, not going to guarantee they win. Obviously, Joey Herbert did it last week. But they're going to have a lot better chance to win. His passing yards, his efficiency is going to go up. So key there, Titans secondary versus Deshaun Watson. So offensively, the big key is line versus line. Overs our offensive line versus their defensive line. On the back end, on the other side, defensively, it's their quarterback versus our secondary. We're going to be healthy this week. We're going to have Fulton. Fulton's back, number 1. Cornerback's back. Hooker's back. The safety's back. Byard's out there. Murphy Bunting was stellar last week. So we're going to have our full complement back. And can they shut down Deshaun Watson and start to turn this secondary unit back around from where they've been struggling for almost the last year, being dead last or bottom 5 in the league? Can we get that turned around? I think it's a big matchup there to watch, Deshaun Watson versus secondary. Predictions this week, the current spread is 3.5. I think it opened at 4 Browns. It's moved down to 3.5 with the Chubb news. I don't think this one's going to be relatively close. I think Tennessee is going to beat them, and I think they're going to beat them handily. The Browns don't have the offensive firepower the Chargers do. They have a much better defense, but Tennessee's offense has got weapons. They started to figure it out last week with Tim Kelly and the bomb, Burks, 70-yard bomb. His offense, Tim Kelly called a masterful game last week. I expect him to do it again this week. The triple option in the red zone, getting Spears and Henry both on the field at the same time. Snap count was quite a bit better, I thought. I expect Tennessee to win and win handily. I've got them 27-14. So if you're a betting person, be like me, take Tennessee. What I did. I believe in them this week, 27-14. I think Tennessee gets to 2-1. And the big thing is I don't believe an ounce in Deshaun Watson. I don't know what's going on with him, the time missed, all the stuff he did, the off-field stuff, it's gotten to him. He's not near as good as he used to be. He is not going to carry this team right now with Chubb out. He's been awful through 2 games. He's going to be awful through 3 games. It's going to work out in Tennessee's favor. I think Tennessee's defense completely shuts him down. And like I said, I think Tennessee's D may end up with a defensive touchdown this week. I think Tennessee might put a TD on the board this week, whether a pick 6 or a fumble 6. I think Tennessee's defense is going to tear them apart this weekend. I don't see Deshaun Watson having any chance against them. And with Chubb out, Tennessee all day, guys. 27-14, Titans win. Easy one. Book it. Put it on the books. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. 2 stellar defenses, 2 of the best defenses in the league. If Tennessee would get their passing defense cleaned up. I see Trev hopping in, messing around with me down there. Type of game that could be the first to 20 wins. I think Tennessee is going to get it done. So thank you guys for listening. If you like our Titans coverage, please like, subscribe, share this. Come follow us on Bite Size Sports. We're slowly growing. We've also got multiple other shows. You got Vikings, Steelers, Colts, Bears. More incoming. You don't want to miss out. You can also catch me every Thursday night at 9 on The Bounce, talking NBA with Kev and our newest co-host, Keebler, which is awesome. And then you can catch me every Wednesday at 9 p.m. talking Star Wars, Han Shot First, nerd stuff. We are reviewing Ahsoka right now. Every episode we're going back talking about it. So come join us, like, subscribe. Until next time, guys, tighten up.